Welcome back to the Flipside. My name is JT, and I wanted to talk today about an event that I had the opportunity to go to last weekend called A.T.O.M. A.T.O.M was an event put together by Queen Games, Inside Up Games, and Eagle Griffin Games, where they invited a bunch of content creators together along with those three publishers. And we had basically a 4-day weekend where we all just hung out, played games, tried prototypes, joked and laughed, and um, made merry for sure. Didn't sleep very much, but I did want to talk about it a little bit. It was a really neat event. The premise behind the event is, Connor from Inside Up Games, Travis from Queen Games, and Randall from Eagle Griffin Games. Randall wasn't there. Jason was there in his place. But they came up with this idea to kind of create, more connectivity in our community, and in the community of our content creators, which is pretty cool. I don't know that I totally consider myself a content creator. Of course, I'm on the flip side with Sam, and I'm really excited to be here. I love games, like most of you. I am a huge fan of board games, and this was an opportunity of a lifetime for me. So we went there. Wednesday, I flew to St. Louis. It is held at the Gamers Ranch in Missouri. So I flew to St. Louis. I had the opportunity to ride with Sarah and Melissa from Tantrum House to the ranch, to the Gamers Ranch, which is a really cool place. He's got his own lake, disc golf course around the place, as well as an area that holds a building that holds probably in the vicinity of 20 to 30 people, lots of bedrooms with a big gaming room, lots of cool things, a big, beautiful kitchen. And we just had an absolute blast. We were lucky enough to have a chef there named Chris Whitpan. It's pretty awesome. He is part of our board game community. In fact, he's part of PAX U, part of the organizing team for that. So that's really awesome. But the crazy thing is he made fantastic food every day for every person. Breakfast, lunches, and dinners were awesome. We had things like delicious Parmesan chicken. We had good salads. We had Chicago dogs. We just had treats all day long. And it was really quite awesome to have him there cooking for us. I got to meet a lot of content creators. Got to meet David, and actually I've met Jeremy before a couple of years ago at Gen Con, but I got to meet David as well from Man vs. Meeple. He was really cool. Probably one of the most, one of the nicest, most connected. Like he tried to make sure everybody was connected. It's a lot of people coming from different places, and some of them knew each other very well. Me myself, I didn't know any of them very well, but they welcomed me in very awesomely, and we had a good time, and everybody was awesome. But I met David and Jeremy from Man vs. Meeple. I also got to meet Alex from Board Game Co. And if you ever thought that he had a lot of energy on his videos, he definitely has that same energy in real life. So definitely not putting anything on. Alex is go, go, go. I also got to meet Jenna from Board Game Gardens. These are people that I watch their videos on a consistent basis, that I really enjoyed having time to actually get to know them. Jenna's awesome. She did a fantastic teach of the Adventures of the South Tigris. She did a great teach. We had a great time. Um, I'm very thankful to have met them. I also met people for channels that I've never heard of, or that I've maybe heard and seen in passing, but I didn't know about. So new channels that I get to check out. I met Tyler and Ilya from Corvée Studios. They were awesome. Their content, I've already started watching a bit. They're quite funny. They're quite artistic. And I look forward to seeing more of their stuff. Also met Nelson Oliver from Nelson All Over. is his channel. Quick little play there. One thing I know about Nelson now that I didn't know before was that he's really into card games like Marvel Champions and Star Wars Unlimited. What is it called? I don't remember what it's called, but that's new Star Wars game that comes out. But Nelson's channel, I guarantee when I go back to start making more decks in Marvel Champions that I'm going to be looking up his stuff because he definitely know what he's talking about. I've seen a couple of his videos now, and all he talks about is he opened up a new Bishop pack the other day, part of the new expansion, and he's just talking about all the other cards that he knows that he can put into there. Um, that takes a lot of knowledge of the system, but of all the cards as well to kind of put that together. So that was really cool. I also met Danielle Standring. I think her channel's the same as her name. I know she's part of the World Series of Board Games, and it was really cool to meet her and to play games with her. I have to say, but she smoked us in Inventions. I didn't smoke us, but she beat us all pretty handily. Um, so that was pretty cool. And I also got to meet Derek and Lizzie Funkhauser. Um, Derek works for not only works with not only Wise Wizard Games, but he also has a YouTube channel called Board Game Spotlight. I haven't checked them out yet, but I guarantee I've got them subscribed to them now. So I'm excited to see their content. It was just really cool to meet all these different people. There were also others there. There were a couple of people, David and James, that were helping out Travis with Queen Games. Brandon and Chris that were helping out Connor, or that I shouldn't say helping out. They work for Inside Up Games. And I think they probably keep Connor in line just a little bit. But it's just my take. And like I said, I met Jason Grants from Eagle Griffin Games. He was the one that taught us Inventions, and that was fantastic. So I just wanted to say how thankful I am and how grateful I am to be able to go to that event. It was, like I said, once in a lifetime. And then I just wanted to tell you a quick bunch of games that I got to play there. I'm going to do some developer spotlights or some designer spotlights not too long from now so that I can talk about more of these in more detail. But I think I played 27 new games to me over the weekend. And then I played a few that I'd already played and I know. And then I also got to play a half a dozen prototypes that we can't speak about. I don't even know what you're talking about. But anyways, as far as games go, I played Marrakesh from Queen Games. That was a really cool game. I know Sam and I are going to play it. Or we're trying to play it pretty soon. We were going to play it tomorrow on a live. But unfortunately, I have to work. So now he has to play something else. I played, and Marrakesh is out. It's a 2022 game. So go check it out. See if you like it. I also played Quarter Sands from Catch Up Games. As far as I could tell, this one's on pre-order on places like Miniature Market and other places. So it's not out yet. Quarter Sands is a really cool game where you have this row of nobles in the middle. And on your turn, you have 3 cards. And those cards are going to line up with the different colors of nobles. And I can't remember the exact theme of it, but they do have those nobles. But on your turn, you're going to have 3 cards. 1 card you're going to keep and put in your tableau. 1 card that you're going to either raise standing with or lower standing with one of the nobles. And 1 card that you have to give to somebody else to put in their tableau. So at the end of the game, any cards above the nobles are going to count as positive, and any cards below the nobles are going to count as negative. So if they have 3 cards above them and 1 card below them, you're going to get 2 points. Everybody's going to get 2 points for every one of those cards they have in front of them. So you're trying to balance who's getting how many points compared to what you have in your tableau. And the ones that have low point values, you don't want to get negatives. So you want to shuffle those off to other people. It's just a really cool game. I'm pretty excited to see it. It's got pretty art. Pretty cool game to check out. I also played MLEM, Space Academy. I don't know about the word MLEM, but I'm hoping that MLEM actually stands for something and is not the sound that, cats make when they're puking or whatever, but it is called MLEM Space Academy. Space Agency, excuse me. from Rebel Studios. It's not out yet. It's from Reiner Knizia. It's supposed to come out this year, although I don't know exactly when. And this is a cool little push your luck game where you're trying to go up this track, and each person's turn, they have dice, a handful of dice, and as you roll those dice, you lose them. Your hand diminishes of dice, and technically you're trying to get all the way to the top. And if you can get all the way to the top, any of the other people's cats, because everybody's going to have a cat on the rocket, and they're going to be jumping off the rocket before the rocket explodes. Obviously, if you can get to the top, you can drop your cats off on the top, and they get the most points. But it's this cool little thing. Everybody has cats that have special powers, and we all have the same special powers on our cats, but everybody's going to line up on the rocket, and then you're going to fly the rocket up as far as you can with cats jumping off on asteroids and planets for area control and for points and things like that. So it's really cool. It kind of gave me a first rat kind of vibe, except for it's just not a continuous track. It's a track that you're going to move up and down on. So, but that's pretty cool. We also played House of Fado from Eagle Griffin Games. This one's pretty exciting. This is like they have the short games coming out. They have the Mercado de Lisboa. I don't know why I can't say that. They also have like Bot Factory for Kanban. And the House of Fado is kind of the shorter version of the Gallerist, and it was super cool. I think we got our play done in, I don't know, play and teach in an hour, and it definitely gives you that Vital Lacerda, vibe. That one's going to be really exciting to watch and see. It is launching on Kickstarter in 2024. I want to say that Jason, was it Jason? Yeah, Jason said that it was launching in May, maybe May or June. But whatever you do, go on there, click to follow it, check it out. House of Fado. If you like Lacerda games, if you like the Gallerist, this is going to be a pretty cool game. So check that one out. I also got to play Luxor. I know Luxor is only a 2018 game, but I wanted to put it on this list because I've never played it before, and I really enjoyed it. I really thought traveling around that pyramid, trying to get to the middle, but trying to get artifacts and stuff on the way was a really cool thing. And it has a really cool hand management piece where you have 5 cards, and on your turn, you get to play a card on your left or a card on the right end, but you can't play any of the 3 in the middle. And then after you play your card, you're going to get a new card, and it's going to go directly in the center. So your cards are going to continually work themselves out so that you can play off of the ends. Really cool mechanic. Basically a race to the middle, but there's a lot of points you can get and collect on the way. So that one's really neat. I played a game called Expeditions Around the World from Super Meeple. What I saw was there were some pre-orders available for this coming out in May. So keep your eyes out, May, June maybe. But this was a very interesting game. You started in the middle of the board, and there were 3 expeditions on your turn. You can either extend these expeditions around the world, or you can move them to a different location, like redirect them if you have the right tokens to spend. But you're going to get a hand of cards with all kinds of locations across the world, and you're trying to guide these 3 expeditions there. And so is everybody else. It has a really cool board where all of the special locations that you're trying to get to have like a blown up, like you may be trying to go to Chichen Itza or something like that, and it'll have a cool little blown up Mayan temple there on the board that you can see. Obviously the board's not to scale, but it has all these cool little locations that you're headed to. So that's a really fun game. Check it out. See if you like it. I think families would like this a lot. And it's really quite an interesting puzzle as you move around the world. Played a game called Vampire Village from Studio H. I believe that it's out now for purchase. Vampire Village is an interesting game. I'm not sure if it's a game for me, but I don't know yet. Hopefully I'll get to try it again. I don't know if I would buy this one yet. It kind of has that Galaxy Trucker feel, minus the real-time portion, because you're trying to build up. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to draft cards to build up your little town, and they are going to have defense values on the left, on the front, and on the right. Um, and then once you've built up, once you've drafted your 6 cards, 5 or 6 cards during the turn, then you're going to get a new hand of monsters. And with the monster cards, it's almost like the one we talked about earlier. With the monster cards, I have to play one of my 3 monster cards against my base. And it'll tell, depending on the type of monster, if they're going to attack the left, the front, or the right. But I'm going to play one monster down, and I'm going to give one to each of my neighbors. And they're going to do the same thing. So I'm going to get a monster from this neighbor, and I'm going to get a monster from this neighbor. And those 3 monsters are going to come out. And then you're going to do that again, so that you have 6 monsters on the board. Then you're going to, in whatever the order is, and there's a random order for monsters per game, but whatever the order is, if the demons attack, or the I think if they're hags, I can't remember right now, or witches, if the witches attack, you're going to look at their values versus the values of the defense you have there, and they're going to start blowing up, start destroying parts of your town until they're all gone, or until you defend against them. Your value gets higher than theirs. And you're going to do that on all 3 places. So you might have a really good, strong left flank, but you might have gotten hit really hard on the right because of your 2 compatriots here. And they might wipe out a good portion of your video, or of your village. And then you're going to do it again. You're going to go back to the village building stage, and you're going to have what you have now. And you're going to try to build it up and try to defend again. And then it's just a points thing after that. So it's very interesting, but if you don't like your work being destroyed, may not be for you. Check it out anyways. It had cool artwork. It has a really cool mechanism, and I love card drafting anyways, but it has a really cool sequencing of the monster attacks, which is neat as well. On top of that, all of those, I got to play Project L. I know many of you have probably played that already. It's a 2020 game. I've never played it before, and I was extremely surprised at how much I liked it. Really fun game, really fun. If you like Tetris, if you like anything like that, you should check it out. It's got really cool pieces, little acrylic pieces that are in all the different Tetris sizes and shapes. But yeah, Project L is a game that I am 100% positively bringing into my collection. We played a game from Queen Games, which is one of their new games coming out, called Dble Wala. When I first saw the name, I was like, what? And I still haven't gone back to look up everything about the Dble Wala, but these guys are like the food carriers in the East, in the Middle East. And what they would do is, thematically, they would load up backpacks full of massive amounts of food and stuff like that, and then they would go around town and deliver them. In Dble Wala, the game, you are collecting these colored tiles that are polyomino in shapes, and you're trying to basically layer them so you can make multiple layers of stuff during the drafting phase. And then during the next phase, you're going to go around and sell them. And by selling them, you're going to start at the top, and you're going to start scoring all of your levels until you're down to your bottom level. And those scores are going to be determined by cards that everybody plays. So if you have a bunch of red on a level, and you're the only one that has red on a level, and you play 2 red, that might be all you get, is 2 per red square. But if you get lucky enough, or you think about it enough, if you have 3 or 4 people that have red on there, you may be able to get red points from their cards as well. So it's got a really cool balance. It's coming out this year. I think it's kickstarting, but I can't remember. But it's called Dble Wala from Queen Games. Really cute game. Really nice puzzle. Definitely has potential, that's for sure. I played a game called Perch. Now, Perch is already funded. It funded, I can't remember if it's on Kickstarter or GameFound, in September of last year. And the page says that it's supposed to come out sometime in 2024. Me being a Kickstarter backer and a GameFound backer, I hope so. Now, I think it will be. Um, but Perch is a really cool game, area control game. You're basically each got a flock of birds. You got a whole bunch of birds in your hand, and you're trying to get them in this backyard, basically. And there's all these different locations, and for each location, there might be area control for points. There might be special abilities. If you have the most birds in this location, you can control the cat or the owl or something like that, and then you can make the cat chase off other people's birds and do all kinds of cool things. But the cool mechanism here is it's a bag builder. I guess maybe not a bag builder, but on your turn, you get two birds of your own, and then you're going to put two birds in the bag, and everybody's going to do that. And then everybody's going to go through and draw out, over the course of a snake draft, two more birds. So I might have two birds of my color, and one bird of this person's, and one bird of this person's. Or I could just be lucky enough to draw four birds of my own. But it's really nice to have other people's birds, because you can mess with other people's um, area control. You can mess with, there's a tile that says if you have exactly two birds here, maybe you get a bonus. Oh, you got two birds there. Here, let me help you and give you a third one. Cool things like that. Perch is a really cool, really cute little area control game. I look forward to playing it more and seeing if it'll hit my collection. But it should be coming out in a few months, I think, from Kickstarter back to Kickstarter backers, and then hopefully the rest of us will have access to it as well. So I also played Kinfire Delve. Scorn Stockade is the new one. I haven't played the old one. This is kind of a 20 strong kind of card game. And it's just cards. You're trying to get to the bottom of the deck so you can fight the big bad. Um, but this one's cooperative. So instead of playing solo and 20 strong, this one you can play with two or three or four people if you have multiple two people if you have one of the packs, but I think up to four people if you have two of the packs. I got to play this one more. It's very interesting. And if you've ever played 20 strong, or if you've ever played this game, there's a lot of nuance to it, and there's a lot of thought process to it. So I don't know that I know it enough to recommend it or not, but it was a very interesting game for sure. Um, I played The Great Split, which is a 2022 game, and loved it. We had so much fun playing The Great Split. In The Great Split, you're getting a hand, you're trying to collect books and gems and all these different things, but you're getting a hand, and every turn, you got to put a card in the middle of your hand and then pass it to your neighbor. They get to take half of your hand, and then you get to take the other half. And same with the other neighbors. So you're going to combine those two new halves, and that's the resources basically you get for that round. But I'm going to have that same half that my neighbor's already seen once. Then I'm going to put my card back in there, and I can rearrange whatever I want. But then I hand it over to them. So some of those cards you're going to see coming back time and time again. You're going to be like, oh yeah, I can count on this one. And some of them your neighbor is going to be passing off to the next person eventually. So it's got this really cool balance. Very interesting game, very fun. We had a blast. And then the last two that I'm going to mention today is Inventors of the South Tigris by Garfield Games. Like I said, Jenna taught this to me. She had a great teach. We had, I think, Ilya and Tyler were in this one as well. We played. It was a longer game, and for the South Tigris, I'm a huge fan of Garfield Games. I own, as you can see, I own a few, um, and I've already backed Inventors as well. Some really cool dice manipulation, some really cool mechanics that we'll talk about when I have more time, because that's one of those ones where you just need to dive in deep. And the last game on the list, which was my favorite play and my favorite game of the entire weekend, was called Inventions, Evolution of Ideas from Eagle Griffin Games in Vital Lacerda. This is a big, heavy Lacerda. This is a Kanban plus, maybe. I don't know. I think this is heavier than Kanban for sure. And it stems from the fact that you can chain multiple main actions together sometimes. You can have some really big, giant turns. Again, another game that I need to talk about in more detail in a different video. But just know, Inventions, out of all the games I played, out of everything else, this one sparked my brain. It made it twist and twirl. I really enjoyed this game, and I look forward to playing it again. So, again, that's all the games that I played during the A.T.O.M event. And, I want to thank Travis and Connor and Randall for bringing me in. I want to thank all the content creators that I got to hang out with and play games with. I think every single person that was there, I played at least one game with. Um, and if we had more hours in the day, we would have played a ton more. But um, I am thankful and grateful. I had a blast. It is a really cool idea to get all those different people together, to get the designers with the content creators, and the content creators can, get with everybody else, and it just kind of spreads the love, I guess, and keeps our industry tight, keeps our community strong. And it was a really cool event. And if you ever get a chance to go to the Gamers Ranch, do it because it was absolutely positively awesome. You guys have a great day, and we will see you on the flip side. Take care.